often asked when people file bankruptcy, can I keep my house and my car? A lot of people say that they feared filing bankruptcy because they thought they were going to lose their house and their car. So I want to talk about, yes, you can keep your house and your car even though you file bankruptcy. That's number one. Why can you do it? Well, if you have a car and you have a lien on that car, you're paying the creditor, and you purchase the car on credit and you're repaying that creditor, you get to keep your car as long as you're making payments. So when you file bankruptcy, if you have a car, especially if you're in a Chapter 7, you have to continue making those payments in order to keep that car. If you don't make payments, the creditor can file what's called a motion for relief from automatic stay, and they can ask the court to grant that motion, and the granting of that motion will give them an order that will allow them to repossess your car. They're only going to do that if you don't make payments. So the best way to keep your car is to make payments. Also, if you have a car that's fully paid for, you can keep it as long as it is exempt, as long as the equity is exempt. Let's say you have a car and the market value is $10,000 and you don't have a lien on it. In Delaware, there's an exemption that allows you to keep up to $15,000 worth of equity in a car. So when you file bankruptcy, you could keep your car, and if all of your equity is $15,000 or under, you get a chance to keep that car. If it's over, we might be able to combine it with other exemptions. Talk to your lawyer about that if you have a vehicle that's worth more than $15,000. So that's how you keep a car. If you have equity, that equity must be $15,000 or less in order to exempt all the equity. If you have a lien on the car, you get to keep that car as long as you're making payments. With mortgages, it's the same thing. You get to keep your house as long as you are making your payments. If you were facing foreclosure and we filed bankruptcy, you can keep your house if we file what's called a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which is the type of bankruptcy that you file where you're making monthly payments. So you have to, if you want to keep your car, you have to make payments whether you're in Chapter 7 or in Chapter 13. In Chapter 13, 9 chances out of 10, that car payment is going to be paid for through your Chapter 13 plan of reorganization. And everybody who files Chapter 13 has a customized plan of reorganization, and everybody's plan is different. So in Chapter 13, more than likely, your payments are going to be paid through the plan. Again, as long as you make that plan payment, you get to keep your car. If you're in Chapter 7, as long as you make your payments, you get to keep your car. So don't worry about filing bankruptcy and pursuing a debt-free life. You get to keep your house and your car as long as you make the payments and as long as the equity is exempt. One more thing. Let's talk about house and the exemption in houses. In Delaware, you get to exempt up to $125,000 of the equity in your house. So if you're almost done paying your mortgage and you have $125,000 or less equity in your house, you get to keep it. If you have more equity than that, then we have to take a look at other things that we can do to help you exempt it. One thing you can do is you can exempt what's called the cost of sale. And in Delaware, we've calculated that to be 10%, and that is as per a decision that my firm worked on and won called Enri Perez. We were able to get the courts to agree that 10% cost of selling your house can also be an additional exemption for you over and above that $125,000. So You get to keep your house as long as you make your payments, as long as your equity is exempt. Same thing goes with your car. I hope that helps you to understand what happens with your house and your car. You get to keep it. So don't worry about that. Take care.